Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today for our latest Resource Hub video, an introduction to On Page SEO, where we're going to look at On Page SEO, the various elements of On Page SEO and what you can do to optimize your site for On Page SEO. So what is On Page SEO? On Page SEO is the process of optimizing a website's pages in order to increase its visibility on the SERPs and improve its ranking. The main aim is to make the website's pages content relevant and easy to understand for both the user and Google. It's really important to remember that the user is Google's customer, not you as the business owner or the website owner. So you need to make sure you're optimizing your content for your end user, and by doing so, you'll in turn optimize your content for Google as well. So there are a number of different ranking factors when it comes to SEO. There are things such as website stability, UX and usability, your sitemap, your content, use of images, keywords. But today we're only going to focus on what I would consider the top 5 sort of on-page SEO ranking factors, which are high quality content, title tags, meta descriptions, headings, and keywords. So let's start off with keyword research. Keyword research will help you to define the search terms you most want to target. It also allows you to estimate the scale and volume of searches being performed, which reveals the opportunity available. So the main objectives when it comes to your keyword research is to establish the opportunity, understand the search behavior, and create a list of search terms that you want to target. So by doing extensive keyword research, you'll sort of understand what you're missing out on, if there's any opportunities for you to capitalize on. Maybe there's some search terms you didn't realize your users were interested in. And again, understanding your search behavior means that there won't be any blind spots. You'll know exactly what your users are interested in, and you'll make sure that you have content that's relevant for that. And then essentially identifying your search phrases at the beginning of your SEO is crucial. It'll be the foundation. So creating a list of search terms that are important to you that you want to target will help build out your content further, and making sure that it's keyword rich. Because it's very important that your content is keyword rich and up to date when Google is going to crawl your site. So you can build a list of relevant keywords for your website using tools such as Google Keyword Tool and Google Analytics as well. So we'll start off with looking at Google Ads Keyword Planner. Now you do have to have a Google Ads account to access this tool, but it is really, really useful and definitely worth mentioning. So it provides search volumes for the last 12 months. You can see here I've used the Northwest 200 as an example. So what I've done is I've put in that sort of seed keyword or term. You can also, it's optional to put in the site as well to give Google a little bit more context. I've narrowed my search down to just the Ireland and the UK, so you can make it more granular by picking a particular location as well, which is really good. And you can see there it's given us a 12-month overview. So if you look just below there in the left-hand corner, you can see the keyword by relevance. So there's the Northwest 200, the exact keyword I put in, the average monthly search, and then below that Google has also given me some keyword ideas based on my sort of seed keyword, if you like. And then there's also a tab as well for competition, telling me if the competition is low or if it's high, if lots of people are using that keyword or if they're not, which is really, really good to know. What I will say is that the keyword planner is great, but this is not hard data. It's not sort of black and white. You want to look at this more as an estimate and a guidance. There are billions and billions and billions of searches that happen on Google every month. So you would expect these numbers then to be a bit bigger if they were exact searches. So again, if you see sort of lower figures like 20s or 10s, that's not to say that people aren't searching them. Again, it's just a rough guidance. It's an estimate to give you an idea of how popular that keyword is. But if it's relevant for you and relevant for your content, there's absolutely no harm in using it. So yes, it's a really, really good tool. And again, it generates keyword and out group ideas as well, which is great. And then you've got Google Trends. We use Google Trends a lot in GlowMetrics. It's a really, really useful tool to understand trends sort of generally that are happening. Again, I've used the Northwest as an example. You can see here it's very, very quiet sort of most of the year, and then it begins to pick up a bit at the start of May with a huge spike in the middle of May, and it drops right back off again come June. showing that, again, obviously the Northwest is in May, and that's when the search demand is happening, and that's when people are interested in the event. So it lets you pick up on those seasonality trends as well. And it's great when you're trying to figure out when's a good time to talk about something. Like, for example, Black Friday is really trending earlier and earlier each year, so it's good to keep on top of that. And it's just good to know generally what's going on. I think it's good for you as a business to kind of have a bit of context to sort of everything that, you know, you may not think might directly impact your business, but it actually does. And then brand and your competitors, so you can again understand what people are searching, or when your brand is maybe trending at certain times of the year. And similar to your competitors, you know, you can put some of their keywords in and gauge what people are searching for or looking at when it comes to your competitors, and then potentially steal some of that traffic. As I say, we use it a lot. This is just a generic, or not a generic example, but I thought a very good example just to show that it can be sort of not necessarily just around your business, but you can look at different things that are happening sort of around the world. So obviously Oasis announced they're doing a tour next year. And in the summer they announced that there was a pre-sale, I think, and it was the question was who was the original drummer in Oasis. And you can see here nobody had any interest in it in the UK up until around 27th, 28th of August. And you can see a massive spike, and then it starts to drop off again. So it's just, again, you know, it can be a bit of fun as well. And you can just, again, gauge what's going on sort of further afield, if you like. And then you have Google Autocomplete. So Google Autocomplete is designed to make it faster to complete searches that you're beginning to type. These are predictions, they're not suggestions. And Google tends to use common and trending queries, language and location data, as well as your search history. But again, going with the Northwest 200 theme, this is just a really good way to maybe get a little bit of inspiration if you're a bit stuck, or you're sort of thinking, is there anything else I might not have seen or might not have covered? Obviously, not all of this is going to be relevant. You're not going to create content around, you know, the crashes that have occurred, but things like circuits and routes and even winners, I think, is really, really interesting. And that's probably a thing that people want to know, you know, when they're planning their journey, or they want to get a bit more information about it. You know, where should they stay? Where's a good place to sort of watch the race and that type of thing. So, again, it's just a little bit of guidance and a little bit of inspiration as well. And then we have a tool, Answer the Public. So Answer the Public is free up until, I think, 2 to 3 searches. So you get 2 to 3 free searches a day, and then you have to pay, but that's plenty. So I think the free version is great, to be honest. And Answer the Public looks at search query data from all search engines to help you understand what people are searching for. So again, I've used the Northwest 200, and you can see I've put that search term in, and Answer the Public has come back to me with a number of different questions that people are interested in or are actively searching for around that topic. So it's really useful to generate content ideas based on what your target audience are interested in. It helps with website visibility, because if you're answering these questions, you're more likely going to appear closer to the top of your search results page. And as well, it'll help you uncover search demand. Maybe there's some of these questions you've never thought about before, didn't think people would be interested in, but turns out they are. So it helps you, again, understand what your users are searching for. And then we've got People Also Asked, which is another really great tool. Again, 2 to 3, I think, free searches a day, and then you have to pay for it. But similar to Answer the Public, it's the free version is great and just as good. So this is a Google search feature that provides users with additional questions related to their original search query and quick answers to them. You've probably seen the People Also Asked box in your search results page. It's like a little click down box with a number of different questions, and then based on the question that you click on, it almost populates more questions that might be relevant or related to that question. So it's a really good tool for visibility. The only downside to it is obviously if somebody gets the answer without going on your website, they may not need to click on the website, but it's great for that thought leadership piece and sort of building trust with your audience as well. So it's definitely worth aiming to, if you can, feature on a People Also Asked box. So how do you do that? You can start off by answering questions directly. FAQ boxes or sections on websites are great for SEO because they directly answer questions, which is likely to be pulled into something like a People Also Asked. You can include your People Also Asked questions as headings and subheadings in your content as well. Again, just to be pulled through, and then you can align with the existing format. So People Also Asked can come up as lists, bullet points. There can be images included. So just kind of keeping that in mind when you're forming those types of question and answer formats is what's the best way you can align with the people also asked format to hopefully get shown. And again, I've just put in a screenshot of what it looks like. So you can see here on the left hand side, there's the Northwest 200 as my seed question or my seed term. There's been a number of different questions that people also asked pulled, and then almost like little sub questions to the main question. So there's lots and lots of information there. But what I've done is I've typed the Northwest into a Google search and it's came up. The question that I actually originally put in has left me, but you can see where I'm going with this. And I think it must have been something to do with the Northwest being on TV, but a question and answer has come up and I've clicked on it. It's from the BBC and you can see it gives me all the information I need. And then it's also given me some other questions based on that. So that's kind of how it looks like, and that's sort of the aim of the game. So website content as well is the next section that we're going to look at. So we've done our keyword research and now we're looking at the content on our site. So we're going to start off with meta title tags, also known as page title tags, and they tell users and search engines the topic of a particular page. Title tags are displayed in search engine results pages, or you can also find titles in the upper left corner of your browser. And when you're writing a page title, be sure to prioritize keywords from left to right. This is because Google can cut you off if you're over the 60 character limit, and you just want to make sure you're getting those key phrases, those keywords at the start of the title so that the user can see it clear as day. And you can also use separators such as hyphens or pipe symbols, to kind of break up your text. But you can see here I've put in order red flowers online. It's came up really clear, really easy as a user to see that this is relevant to my search, and therefore you're more likely to click on it. So it's a bit of really good real estate that you need to make sure you're populating as best you can with relevant terms. And again, you only have 60 characters, so you really need to make sure you're making the most out of it. And then underneath your title tags and your meta title tags, you've got meta description tags. So these are a compelling summary value proposition for this page, including keywords, geolocators if it's appropriate, and you can also include synonyms. So these are written to be read. So it's important for people, as these can actually influence a person's decision to visit a website. It's kind of like a free ad, if you like, for your website. And you have to also remember there are multiple people or websites on that search results page. So you want to make sure you sort of stand out. So again, buy red flowers online. You can see here in the left hand side, red flower bouquets and red flower arrangements, ideal flowers, romantic occasions, order before 3 p.m. or for same day delivery by a local florist. So the red flower keyword has appeared, or a variation of it at least, has appeared 3 to 4 times, I think. There's a USP for order before 3 p.m. and it makes sense now that the keywords red flowers or flower has been used a few times, but it makes sense. It's engaging. The user will know exactly what to expect then when they click on that link. And the best practice is to include both keywords and descriptive text, as you can see here, and have a call to action as well. So a call today, or a buy now, or a, speak to us now, whatever it may be. It's really important to have a sort of clear, concise call to action as well, if it's appropriate. In that example, order before 3 p.m. is a really good sort of USP as well as the call to action. The recommended length is 155 characters. Again, it's quite short, bigger than the title tags, obviously, but again, you want to make sure you include your keywords closer to the start. Add some text around it, make sure it makes sense, and make sure it sort of paints a really clear picture of what is on your site and what the user can expect once they click on that site. So page content, the content on your page needs to be useful to people. It needs to be easy to read and provide value to the end user. So we have done our keyword research, we've tidied up our meta titles and descriptions, and now the user is on our site. So we need to really think about the content we're producing them, because if it's not valuable to the user, they'll click off and go to your competitor. So you want to aim for at least 500 words of copy. There isn't an exact formula for how many words should be on a page, because Google prefers essentially when a page has a lot of great content around your keywords. So it's not about the length, it's more about the quality. And as I said before, you want to make sure you've got keyword rich content so that when Google crawls your site, it's all up to date and you're answering that user's query. So the copy must be unique to each page, not duplicated from other pages on your site, and should directly address your visitors' search queries. And then if you can push the keyword close to the beginning of your content, if it sounds natural, that's great. Again, just for that user to know that what they're searching for is on this page and they don't need to go anywhere else to find what they're looking for. And then you've got headings. I'm sure we're all very aware of what headings are and sort of what they look like, but they're usually the largest words on the page. And for that reason, search engines give them a little more weight than your other page copy. So you want to make sure you're putting target keywords into your headings, and this will make it easier for Google to crawl it. It'll also make it easier for your user to read and understand what is on your site and what is on your page. People's attention spans are a lot shorter than they used to be. So skimmable sort of content is great. So having those headings to break it up for the user to understand what they're reading and where they need to go to is really, really helpful. And it's not just a design. Headers edit your code and Google bots can see this. So you've got your H1s, which are your mains. Then you've got your H2, which would be sort of like a subheading, and a H3 would maybe be a smaller heading for a list or something like that. And it goes on and on, H4, H5, so on and so forth. But make use out of these, because this is how the Google bots are going to crawl your site as well and really understand what's on that page. And similarly, it's great for your users to sort of help break up the content on the page. So Google guidance on AI generated content. It's important, I think, to mention this, as we know AI has really taken off over the last year or so, and it's really impacted on SEO and content in general. So in March of 2024, Google's core update actually penalised websites that relied really heavily on AI generated content due to its frequent failure to meet quality standards, which prioritises human written content with expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So some of the problems when it came to AI generated content was there was a lack of experience. Google values first-hand experience, which AI lacks. AI cannot tell you what a certain restaurant was like. They can't tell you their experience in an airport because they have not been and they don't know. We have found that things like Reddit and Quora and those types of sort of user-generated sites or user-heavy sites appear a lot in search engines because people want they want human content, they want human answers to things, and AI obviously can't provide that. So human authorship as well, AI struggles with because it can't rank on features like Google News and perspectives because it prioritizes human authors, and obviously AI is not a human author. And author expertise, so for more sort of, I suppose, around like maybe politics or medicine, expertise is really, really critical, and Google requires author credentials when it comes to those types of topics, and AI cannot provide that. And it's all about responsible use. AI is really useful, obviously. It's great for your sort of admin. It's great for just sort of helping you piece things together, but it needs human expertise for quality content in order to meet Google standards. And this is an article that was taken, I've taken this from an article from Google, which is, I've linked here below, but it's Google's guidance on AI generated content. So EEAT is crucial. Content should demonstrate expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And using AI as a tool, again, AI can aid content creation, but it shouldn't be used to manipulate search rankings. Spam fighting continues, and Google will penalise AI generated spam. Transparency matters. Disclose AI usage and content creation. So Google, I suppose, isn't saying like you cannot use it. It's completely a no-go. But if you are going to use it for certain things, or if you've used AI to help you understand something a bit better or get some insights into something, I'm not sure, but it's important to just acknowledge that you've used it. Put it in the somewhere on the page that yes, this is an AI generated content paragraph or whatever it may be. Human authorship as well. Accurate author bylines are important. There's a lot now of people who, when they write content, will put a image, their job title, sometimes even a link to their LinkedIn, just to sort of prove to Google that they are who they say they are and they have the sort of experience or expertise to be writing about these various topics. And user value. At the end of the day, it's all about creating valuable content for your users. So you just need to prioritize this, and you need to think, is AI generated content what my users want or need or will appreciate? And the answer is probably no. So again, AI is great for loads of different things, but when it comes to creating content, it's important that it still has that human authorship and it's written by a person, because that's essentially what your user is looking for. So I just want to talk very, very briefly about technical SEO, as this is an on-page SEO element. So technical SEO focuses on websites, architecture and back-end elements such as site speed, mobile friendliness and indexing to enhance its visibility and performance on search engines. So these are just some of the things that falls into technical SEO. So you've got your page experience, so your loading, interactivity and visual stability. Site speed's really, really important. Is your page really slow to load? And if it is, that's not going to look good for Google, and that can eventually jeopardize your ranking. Indexing pages. So again, looking at what pages are being indexed and what pages aren't being indexed. You can use the Google Search Console for this. And identifying any crawl errors, any 404s, things like that, that's stopping Google from actually crawling your pages, and just making sure that you're fixing them. Your XML sitemap, so those really important web pages that you want Google to find, you want to make sure that that's all up to date and in your sitemap. Your user experience and your UX, it's a relatively new SEO ranking factor, but it makes sense. Is your website user-friendly? Can people go on and do the actions or do the things that you want them to do really seamlessly? And if not, obviously then you need to fix that because people will just come right out of your site, and it doesn't look good for your brand either if the user experience is bad. You've got mobile friendliness as well. Regardless of where a user is coming from, be that a mobile, a desktop, a tablet, Google is going to prioritize your mobile site when it comes to ranking. So it's really important that your site is mobile friendly if you want to rank well on SERPs. And then URL structure as well, making sure keywords are included, lowercase letters, and avoiding lots of unnecessary symbols as well. So these are just some things that are important to consider when you're looking at sort of, on-page SEO as a whole. So I just thought it'd be worth mentioning those. But we're coming to the end. So these are just some of the key takeaways that I want you to think about. So SEO means optimizing your site to rank higher in SERPs. Search engines crawl, index and rank your content, and content is king when it comes to SEO. I can't stress that enough. It's really, really important to have good quality content for your user and for Google. SEOs care about Google and Google cares about its users. And as I've said before, optimizing for users often means indirectly optimizing for Google. So that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. It's Anna@GlowMetrics, or email any of your sort of one you're in contact with GlowMetrics as well. That's totally fine. You can also find us on all our socials at GlowMetrics. We post all the time about all things digital marketing and analytics. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you next time.